China spent over $16 billion to lift a river up a mountain and push it 612 kilometers through solid rock. The work is almost done, still won't be enough water. It happens in central Yunnan, a corner of southwest China. The place is not poor and empty. Big cities sit here. Kunming is among them, full of people, factories, and farms. This one dry stretch of land earns most of the whole province's money. By some counts, close to 2 out of every 3 yuan start right here. Now, water experts say a healthy region needs about 1,700 cubic meters per person each year. That's their line for having enough to live and grow. Central Yunnan has around 700, less than half of what it needs, while carrying most of the local economy on its back. A dry year can turn cruel fast. From 2009 to 2012, a drought sat on southwest China and would not leave. Rain stayed far below normal. Reservoirs dropped. Crops died in the ground. Taps at home slowed to a trickle. In a region this dependent on its own farms and factories, a shortage like that doesn't just mean thirst. It means the whole local economy starts to seize up. Here's what makes it worse. There's plenty of water close by. The Jinsha River, the top end of the mighty Yangtze, runs right past the region. The trouble is where it runs. Near a town called Shigu, the river bends hard and drops into Tiger Leaping Gorge, one of the deepest canyons on Earth. The water sits at the bottom. The cities sit high up on the plateau. Hundreds of meters of rock stand in between. Picture yourself standing on a dry hilltop, throat burning, hearing a river roar in a canyon far below. You can hear it but can't reach it. For decades, that was Yunnan's whole problem. All that water, right there, and no way to lift it to the people who needed it. So the engineers picked a fix that sounds a little mad out loud. If the cities can't go down to the river, drag the river up to the cities. The trip starts at Shigu, right on the Jinsha. But the river sits lower than every place the water has to reach, and water won't climb on its own, so they force it. A giant pumping station grabs the water and drives it more than 200 meters straight up, taller than a 60-story building, before the journey even begins. A row of huge pumps runs day and night, pushing against gravity every second. From there, the water has to cross the mountains. And these aren't soft green hills. This is the edge of the Hengduan Range, a wall of steep peaks and deep valleys sitting on top of live earthquake faults. An open canal across ground like that wouldn't survive. The first real quake would split it open and drain it into the rock. Rain, evaporation, and landslides would eat at it the rest of the year. So they went under. The full route runs 664 kilometers, and 612 of those kilometers are tunnels. More than 90% of the water's new path is buried inside the mountains, hidden from the sky, safe from quakes, weather, and sun. It's the longest system of water tunnels ever built by anyone, anywhere. One stretch nearly broke them, the Xianglushan Tunnel. On a map, it's a single segment of the line. On the ground, it was a monster. It runs more than 62 kilometers through the mountain. In places, the rock stacks up 1,450 meters above the crew's heads. Pile 3 Empire State Buildings on top of each other, and that's the weight bearing down from above. At that depth, the rock turns hot, and the pressure makes solid stone creak. The crews hit fault zones, where the rock is already shattered and wants to collapse. They hit pockets of gas that could catch fire. They drilled into hidden underground rivers that burst through the wall and flooded the tunnel, swallowing machines in muddy water. Every few hundred meters, the mountain found a new way to kill them. On the worst days, they moved forward by inches. Think about that work for a second. Miles inside a mountain, in the heat, in the dark, with 1.5 kilometers of rock overhead and water waiting behind the next wall. This one tunnel took years to punch through. When a team finally broke the last wall of a major section, they cheered like they'd won a war. In their world, they had. Now pull back and look at all of it. Construction started in 2017. It's one of 172 water projects the Chinese government marked as top priority for the whole country. By the end of 2025, the main line was about 95% connected. Then, in January 2026, they launched the next phase. That's the web of smaller pipes and channels that carries the water, the final stretch, into the cities and out across the fields. Add it together, the main line plus that delivery network, and the full system of tunnels, pipes, and canals runs close to 1,800 kilometers. Once it's running, it's built to move about 3.4 billion cubic meters of water a year. That's enough to fill more than 1 million Olympic pools, pouring into the dry heart of Yunnan, year after year. Part of the flow is set aside to refill sick, polluted lakes on the plateau, like Dianchi Lake near Kunming, which had been choking for years. Some go to farms. The biggest share goes to the cities and their factories, the engines earning all that money. It's one of the biggest water projects ever built. This should be the happy ending, but it was not. Here's where the story turns. Quick thing before the turn. These videos take dozens of hours to research and put together. If you'd like to help keep them coming, you can make a small donation through the first link in the description or the pinned comment. No pressure at all. Now, back to the story. Even when the whole system is finished and running full out, central Yunnan still won't rise above the waterline. Do the plain math. Take 3.4 billion cubic meters. Split it among more than 11 million people, plus the factories, plus the farms that feed them, plus those dying lakes. Spread that thin, and the region still lands below the 1,700 cubic meters per person that experts call the healthy floor. This project did not lift Yunnan over the line. It drags it closer, then stops short. And the bills never stop. Remember, the water gets pumped uphill at the very start. That's not a one-time push. Those pumps have to run every day, for good, burning electricity the whole time, just to keep the water climbing the right way. The cost of this river doesn't stop when the digging does. That's when it really starts. Then there's demand. That dry region earns most of the province's money, which pulls in more people, opens more factories, waters more farms. The thirst grows at the exact moment the new water shows up. So the gap this tunnel was built to close keeps trying to crack back open. You bring in more water, the region grows, and the growth drinks the water you just brought in. $16 billion. The longest water tunnels on Earth. A river bent uphill and forced through a mountain range. And at the finish line, the region is still thirsty, only less thirsty than before. To the engineers who built it, the Yunnan tunnel was never really the goal. They treat it as a rehearsal, a practice run, proof they could drill for hundreds of kilometers through shaking, dangerous mountains and come out the far side alive. A rehearsal for what? For years, Chinese scientists have floated an idea that sounds like science fiction. A tunnel around 1,000 kilometers long, the longest anyone has ever put on paper. Its job would be to climb onto the Tibetan plateau, tap one of the great rivers up there, and carry that water hundreds of miles north to bring a desert back to life. It's still a proposal, not an approved build, and the hurdles are enormous. But the idea keeps coming back. And here's where it stops being only an engineering story. The river they've eyed is the Yarlung Tsangpo. Follow it downstream, across the border, and it changes its name. It becomes the Brahmaputra. It flows into India, then Bangladesh, and hundreds of millions of people live off it. They farm, fish, and drink with it. So the Yunnan project settled one question for good. Can China carve hundreds of kilometers of tunnel through some of the roughest mountains on Earth and force a river's worth of water through them, uphill, on purpose? Yes, they just did it. Which leaves a far bigger question hanging over everything that comes next. What happens the day China points that same skill at a river that hundreds of millions of people outside its borders depend on to live? And if you made it this far, thank you. These documentaries take a lot of time to research, write, and produce. If you enjoy this kind of content and want to help support the channel, you can make a small donation through the first link in the description or the pinned comment. No pressure at all. But every bit genuinely helps keep more videos like this coming. And if moving a river through a mountain feels impossible, wait until you see what China's building for its power grid. They've fired up the world's first thorium reactor, a design that's meant to run without ever shutting down. That video's on your screen right now, and it's the perfect one to watch next.